Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Underground channel. And this is going to be part 2 to my power bank electric system that I made. And I think it's better than some of the ones you buy for $1,300 and they don't last all night long. The one on as you seen on part 1, I built it, but I didn't have enough time to charge it because it was dark. But it also ran my electric and my furnace all night long. So I'm getting ready to show you part 2 now that it's all hooked up. As you can see, my fan is working. So we'll go outside and I'll show you how I got it all built. I didn't have nobody to hold the cameras to show you as I was building it, but if you all wanting to know how and can't figure it out, you can drop a line in my comments and let me know. And what I'll do is I'll tear it all apart and figure when I got somebody that can hold the camera and show you how I put it all together. But it's all basic, anybody could do this. So let me put this up here. And turn this off. Unplug it so I can lift the lid. Sorry about having to hold the camera with one hand. But I got 4 solar panels here. And I got 4 solar panels there. And it's charging right now. 12.3. 12.4. And this is a cooler, Coleman cooler. As I showed you in part 1, it's got a telescopic handle and wheels, so I can pull this thing around and not have to carry it. The battery alone is about 70 pounds. But I'll show you what it looks like inside. If you can focus it on the camera. That's a 119 amp. No, it's a 114 amp hour battery, marine battery that's called EverStart. And you get them at Walmart, and they're $99.99. And down here, I have a 120 watt inverter mounted to the side for little things like drills and stuff like that. Up here, I got a 4,000 peak, 2,000 continuous inverter, and each 4 panels has its own controller. One right there, one right there. And then I had this little extra thing where you can plug a cigarette plug lighter in it. And it has 2 USB ports. Now then, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wow, it's got more than I thought. There's 4, 6, 7, 8, 9 USB ports, and they all work. Took me a minute to count those up because I couldn't believe it. So that's what this does. And with what juice was in it from when I bought it at Walmart, it lasted all night. My furnace ran all night. All the lights, anything I needed inside worked. All the receptacles was running. And I use this to connect to my shore power cord to the camper. And it ran all of that. And I got another EverStart marine battery here. This is what runs the camper. And everything 12 volts. It runs everything except the igniters on the refrigerator and the furnace, and probably the heater too, the water heater. So I figured, why go spend $2,000 for a Yeti, and a Yeti will not run my camper all night long. And those other boxes, not the Yeti, what's that other one? Well, you can name some name brands. They're really nice and they look good, but basically what you're getting is this in a little box with a amp hour battery that only lasts for so long. And this ran my whole shebang in this fifth wheel. It ran it all night long with the furnace running all night long. Of course, the furnace goes on and off as the temperature goes down. And that's 100 watts and that's 100 watts. 4 solar panels, 25 each. The reason why I went with these is because it don't have to be sunny. It can be raining outside. I still get a little bit of charge out of any light. So I like that idea. Instead of just only when the sun's out, that's when you can charge. So Harbor Freight's got another. These are called Thunderbolts. Harbor Freight has got a new one out that's 100 amp solar glass, power solar glass, and they're 100 amps each. They're a little bit more square, about the size of 2 of these. So I'm going to start getting those and go with 100 amps. And then with a couple of these connector wheels, I think you can go up to 400 watts on one of these. So what I'll do is I'll get another one of these and connect 4 of the the 100 watt panels that Harbor Freight just start selling, and I'll do a review on them as soon as I can get the money to get them, and put 4 of them. So actually that would be 600 watts coming in. I don't know if the 100 watt new ones will generate power even if it's raining or not, but I figure with these and those, when the sun's coming out, won't take no time to charge this up or run my electric or anything. But if it's cloudy and stuff, I'll still putting in energy and charging up my power bank. Now I bought this one because it's tall enough that I can put another battery in there, another 114 amp battery in there from Walmart, and just put a plate in between, and that'll be 228 volts or 228 amp hours, which would probably last a complete 24 hours and not run down past 50%. So leave me a comment. I just got these out on the ground testing everything and then charging this up because I'm going to run my welder and got to weld a muffler on my van, and I'll be using this welder from Harbor Freight and see how it does then. If you want me to do a review while I'm welding, drop a comment down below, and I'll show you how this all works. So I'm pretty sure it'll work pretty good, especially now that the main battery inside is getting charged up to full. So sorry I'm stuttering a little bit because I had a heart attack and 2 strokes. Some days is better than other days. So without further ado, I'll start to end this pretty quick. Don't want this one to be very long. So what I did is, I read a comment. Somebody wanted to know how much I had invested. Well, I got the solar panel kits from Harbor Freight, and it comes with 4 panels. Each one's 25 watts, so equals is 100 watts. And the reason why I bought them was because it don't have to be sunny for them to work, Where a lot of solar panels, if the sun ain't directly on them, you're not getting no charge. This is Little Ann, just like it. Her name's just like in the movie. So, now one thing I did try is I tried to run my air conditioner, my rooftop air conditioner. It tries to start, and I got it started once by turning the fan on first and then flipping it to cool real fast. I got it on, but when the compressor went to kick in, my inverter went off. It started sounding an alarm. So that thing must pull out a lot of amps or watts. So what I'm going to do is I will buy a soft start and put it on that air conditioner and see if it will start that way, which I believe it will, because I've watched a lot of reviews where people's tried to do the same thing, and their Yetis or whatever it is they're using would not start their air conditioners. And then when they did get them to start with 100 amp hour Yetis, I think it was, the Yetis would still pop off because of the circuit breakers they have in them isn't high enough. Like they're 15 and they need to be 30. So that's one bad thing about the Yetis that I don't like. Another thing, I watched a few YouTubes on the same subject, and the ones who could get their rooftops started with soft starts, the Yetis would only work about 10 to 20 minutes, and then they would shut down and need to be recharged. So with mine, I don't think I'll have to do that once I put a soft start. One battery should last me 4 hours if I did my math right. If I haven't, you can correct me down below in the comments. Another thing is, I'm going to add another battery, make it 228 amp hours for that one unit with that Coleman cooler that I'm building it out of. Plus, I'm going to get a little bit better electronics and mount onto it and make it look a little bit prettier. Right now, I just put it together with all the stuff I had. Now, back to where I was at. How much did this cost me? I'd say about $700 for everything with the 2 solar panel kits. Maybe 8, because the solar panels were on sale for $178 times 2. I bought 2 kits. That's 200 watts. So 178 and 178. The battery was $100, and then the 4,000 watt inverter was about $200, and the cooler, the one I chose, was about $40. So yeah, probably around $800. But I got a lot more power than you going spending $1,500 for one of these little power stations. Even the ones that you can only really use one 110 outlet and 2 USBs. If you're plugging in lights, you might get 4 hours. But if you're going to use anything like tools or try to do what I do, run my whole camper on it, all the electric and everything, those things ain't going to do it. But this one did. And I didn't even have the battery full charge once I finally got done with it last night. I hooked it up, hit the bed. When I woke up, my furnace was still working. And when I turned on the lights, all my lights and everything was still working. But the battery went past 50%. I think it was more like 65% that I used of the battery, minus the percentage that it wasn't charged all the way up to the top. So in my book, I think that was pretty good for one battery, 114 amp battery. So, and it ran my furnace. It kept me warm. So, I hope that answers your questions. Sorry I ain't doing it the fancy way. I'm a little under the weather today. And It was getting hot in here, and I had to go up and down off the roof to take my solar panels off the camper because getting ready to move it. And where it's going, then I'm going to set it up, but I ain't going to put the panels on top of the roof no more. I'm going to set them outside and build a little frame thing for them. And I'm thinking about getting an axle and cutting it off and weld a couple of bars on it and mount a wooden frame on it, so that the drum that goes around where the brakes are, like on your car, I can just spin my solar panels to the sun as I need to, and I could probably do that with one finger, having a rotator just from an old axle that's cut off or something. And if there's, drive it down into the ground, the axle part, leave the top brake drum and the spindle up top and just spin it, and then use the lugs to weld a couple of frames on that, so I can put 2x6s on it and run a whole string of panels on it, and they'll turn. And if I get real fancy, I'll put a starter motor on it and weld a chain on it and run some wires inside with a 12-volt battery, so I can just spin it a little bit from inside, like in the wintertime. So if you want to see that, be sure to subscribe, and please like on Facebook. A lot of people are wasting their money on these power stations that they're buying, these name brand power stations. You can build one yourself. Anybody can build one, and it's easy. It's almost plug and play. So y'all have a nice day, and God bless you. Have a nice night too. Bye bye. Stay safe.